Bienvenidos, welcome, benvenuti, baseball friends, to another digital plate appearance of our podcast. I'm your host, DJ Guarenas, creator of Guareneo en 3 y 2 in Espanol and HomePlate.33 in English. Thanks for joining us today. Umpires are busy checking the topics lineup and setting up the ground rules. Our Home Runeros team is at the top of the step, ready to jump onto the cyber baseball diamond. Pitch clock is set. Let's talk baseball.
Open day.
Benvenuti, baseball friends. How are you guys doing? We are back. I know we've been away for a while. We did not disappear. We did not get kidnapped or anything. We were just had way too many things in our plate, but we are back at Home Plate 33 with friends. And of course, we're with friends. So we're here with Alex Erickson. How's it going, Eric?
I'm
Alex.
good, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. AKA Alejandro. That's
Hey,
that's one of those things that kind of came up as this long delay. Then everybody has a new nickname. So, how's everything
yes.
on your side? How's baseball treating you? Lots to cover, lots to talk about.
Yeah, so far pretty good. I mean, we had the bye week because of Canada Day, and then I was away last week because I was away on the occasional vacation that I take.
Yeah, which we're
So
allowed
I
to
feel
take.
nowhere near rested and
Yeah,
recuperated. I picked up a sign today, and I'm like, oh my God, my forearms hurt. So
yeah.
who knows? I'm hoping for a practice this week to make sure I
Yeah.
still know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, well, that's kind of one of those things. And like it's Murphy's Law says if practice is on Wednesday, it's gonna rain on Tuesday and not rain on Tuesday and Thursday, but it's gonna pour on Wednesday. So that's how it is. That's summer, but we'll make it work out and continue with all of this baseball passion that brings us together. Anyway, so well today what because we've been away for such a long time, we'll talk about what's been happening this first half because the All-Star break is literally just around the corner. The MLB draft as well. It's coming up this weekend. Home Run Derby is just days away, just on Monday. A lot to dissect there, but let's start with the standouts. Alex, I'll leave it with you. Who do you think are well, not I don't know, maybe the obvious ones and the ones that like a lot of people don't talk about in terms of the standouts players for this first half of the season?
Is there a more obvious one? And are we truly catchers if we don't start with the man from North Carolina,
I don't know who's that
the
guy. I
West
have no
Coast
idea what you're talking
hero,
about.
the biggest of dumpers, Cal Raleigh?
There you go, the big dumper. Which I know I have to admit, my man, I don't like having been in Seattle recently, seeing the t-shirts and the jerseys with instead of Rowley in the back, big dumper in the back, it's like, wow, I know Seattle, it's absolutely going nuts and calling him an MVP already. So that's of course in the offensive side of things, and obviously the all-around catcher part of it. In on the pitching side, who's your standout?
Oh, I was just thinking about it on the drive home. The name is completely escaping me. I'm gonna have to
We'll have to
Google it quick,
re-Google it. Yeah.
but it's a guy who's been around for a while and always seems to fall out of the conversation, but is he put up a performance the other night that was looking like he was one of the greats. I
Yeah.
mean, we can throw a lot of love
Jacob
towards.
DeGrom, maybe.
No, it wasn't DeGrom.
Yeah. Because
It was
that
another
he's
one of
my
those guys.
standout. I don't know, like Jacob DeGrom,
Yeah,
what he's being able to actually do after the injury, like I don't know, like minuscule ERA, with a team that does not produce. I mean, that guy's definitely
I mean
rolling and rolling.
he could be the greatest talent ever, but he also could be like the John Jones of baseball, which is there's always going to be the asterisk if he can't stay healthy. Big
Yeah,
love to Clayton for joining the 3000 club, and
absolutely.
all that good stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know, like being the fourth major league lefty to actually collect 3,000 strikeouts, and only the
Mhm.
third lefty to do it with only one franchise. So definitely one of those things. And before we continue, as you can tell, I mean, we're definitely trying to get the rust off, I know, here in our podcast as we come back for this equation. We forgot to actually tell everybody what the trivia question of the day would actually be, which is kind of one of those things that we
Mm.
have to kind of bring it up, since we both think that the biggest standout this year is Colorado, catcher for the Seattle Mariners. So the question of the day is, who is the other Mariner to have more than 30 home runs before the All-Star game? So nice and easy question. Um, no hints, because I mean, obviously, if I give you a hint, I'm going to tell you who it is. So, for those of you that have actually followed Seattle, you know, like right away. But of course, that was the one thing that actually kind of came to mind when I was preparing for this. So, that's your I don't know, trivia question of the day. So in terms of pitching, so for me, as I mentioned, DeGrom, um, the key thing with DeGrom there, apparently the Jays have him as his primary target. Scares me a lot as a Jays fan, because I mean, even though he's has a minute um, ERA, as you mentioned, Alex, he definitely um, can be broken like a little glass. I don't know, the next day, or finger, or another Tommy John. I don't even know. So not
Mhm.
exactly money in the bank in terms of the health department comes about. So so moving into standouts in terms of the rookie of the year, or at least the standouts
Ooh.
of the rookie part of it. I'll give you mine to give you some time to actually think about it.
Yeah.
So for me, it will be Jacob Wilson. The son of Jack Wilson, from the Athletics. He definitely, in my opinion, he's the early favorite to win the Rookie of the Year, the American League. He has done it everything. He has, he can
Mhm.
hit, he can run, he can bunt. He had, if I remember correctly, among rookies, the most bunt hits. So I know he can do small ball, long ball. I don't know, defensively, one of the best defensive players right now. It was actually pretty close in terms of the players' votes in terms of going to the All-Star game. So, to me, that says a lot about the character of this guy and then of the future of the Athletics.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't normally look to the outfield for inspiration, but I have enjoyed watching Dylan Cruz a little bit here.
Yes.
Outfielder for the Nationals, not putting up, crazy numbers. I don't know if he'll be competitive for the year, but is roaming the outfield pretty nicely for the Nationals.
Yeah, he definitely, like his speed is absolutely ridiculous. I thought Woods was the fastest one in that lineup, but I think
Hmm.
the Cruz, I don't know, giving a run for his money if he's not faster. No, no, definitely, I agree
Yeah.
with you. In terms of moving on to I don't know, basically the comeback player of the year. In my opinion, there's two obvious ones. I'll go with my pick in terms of the American League. Javi Baez. I don't know. He definitely he doesn't have I don't know, the Grand Canyon as a whole in the in his swing anymore, and he looks like he's actually having fun out there, playing
Hmm.
shortstop, playing center field. He's basically doing it all. He's prepped. He already committed to playing for Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic next year. So I think Javi Baez is a clear choice, at least for me. How about you?
Yeah, I would agree with Baez. I think he's doing some cool stuff, and with him hitting the ball, like we already, yeah,
Yeah, like definitely.
can't
And
say
then
it better than what you said.
yeah, no, and in the National League, obviously, Mr. Acuna, which I'll use that as a segue, because of course, to come back from like knee surgery, this like about 3 weeks early that he was supposed to, and hitting bombs left and right, and also not to already have trade rumors because of the team-friendly contract that he has, and Seattle sounds, I don't know, like as a trade. I mean, anything can happen there, but. So kudos to Mr. Acuna in terms of that. I know people hate him, people love him,
Absolutely.
a little bit of both, but he definitely puts bumps in seats at the stadium. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just looking at the betting odds here for the NL, Acuna is tied with Sandy Alcantara
Mhm.
for the favorite of this year.
Wow. So, which Alcantara might be, like the rumor has it apparently the Mets are pushing really, really, really hard to actually get him in that rotation, but it will actually take a lot of prospects because the Marlins
Hmm.
are not exactly doing that bad. And the last 20 games, they have better record than the Yankees, than Boston, and they have better record overall than the Braves. So
Yeah.
it's going to take a lot for them to let him go. But I mean, anything can happen. I mean, that's an interesting part, and we'll talk about it after the All-Star break in terms of those trades that are be coming up because I mean that's going to be the talk of the town as soon as the All-Star game actually wraps up. And last but not least, the team that has surprised you the most. I'll try not to be a fan, but I have to say the Blue Jays. I never in my wildest dreams expected them to be first July and like in the early July. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to win it all, and just because they're first right now, they're going to, basically sweep everything else in between. But the fact that they're first, with more than 2 games ahead of the Yankees and Boston and the Rays and everybody in between, I never saw that one coming. I
And
definitely never.
sweeping the Yankees
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah, like I mean, then a first sweep of the Yankees outside the United States ever. So thanks to Jamie Campbell to make that historic brooms, I know, fly. I know, obviously the Yankees broadcast did not like that. Actually, that a good question for you, Alex. I mean, that's for me. It's not something that Jamie Campbell from Sportsnet started doing just for this series, just because of the Yankees and because everybody likes beating on the Yankees. But I don't know because he's been doing it for years. I mean, it's just been his signature thing. What's your take on the whole? Oh, that's Bush League from the Yankees and stuff like that. I don't know. What do you think?
I am simultaneously annoyed with the amount of gimmicky stuff as I am as much as I love anything that irritates a New York Yankee.
Like,
I There is a lot of crimes that I would be okay happening if it bothered the New York Yankees.
there you go. That
I
yeah,
I personally have a bugaboo with every team having this weird home run gimmick at the end of it.
yeah,
Like I get it, but I
yeah,
don't love it. But
yeah,
if we're gonna pull a gimmick that just grinds the Yankees' gears, then let's do that all
yeah.
day long.
Let it go. I
Exactly.
agree. I totally agree. Like, I mean, the part that, like, I know it's definitely a gimmick. It's kind of like the wrong home run jacket for the Jays and the trident for the Mariners. I mean, every team has their thing. I mean, I still think the worst ever. It's the one where the Twins, when they had a salami that's lasted the whole season, they just kind of had to throw the salami around. I mean, that was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
But in terms of like I mean they're fun. I mean everybody kind of like they had the chain, they had the fireman helmet, I think it was one of them. They had the Viking stuff. So they I know they had some kind of some cool ones. I don't know which one is your favorite. I know you don't like them very much, but at least
I don't
um
like him. I think
yeah,
the Trident is probably the
yeah,
coolest.
yeah,
I wish it could like shoot flames or something out of
yeah.
it or have a water
Well,
gun feature. Like
well, I know like Gosman is actually looking for a flamethrower for their and for the J celebration part of it instead of the
perfect.
ice bucket stuff. So, which was kind of an interesting thing that they were talking about in the broadcast the other day. You know, like he actually kind of tweeted that he was looking for a flamethrower, and then everybody thought that they were looking for a pitcher, and he literally was looking for a flamethrower
Yeah.
for their celebrations in the clubhouse. So, I mean, that'll be kind of an interesting one. My favorite is the one that the Angels had. It was kind of like the samurai hat, and they kind of had like a samurai sword when Atani was actually there. So that was a pretty cool one. That was definitely my favorite overall. No,
What
no.
what's wrong with cool handshakes?
Yeah, well, you have
What's
to spice it
what's
up,
wrong
right?
with having one of your buddies and you and him have like an elaborate post home run handshake? It's great. I like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, no, like that's a
Especially
that's a
because
yeah.
kids on the ballpark, they're never going to be able to get away with buying a freaking blazer that they wear
Yeah.
or a trident and carry that gun nonsense around.
Yeah. Yeah. So
However,
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with you and your buddy learning, a Manny Ramirez, David Ortiz high five sequence after one of them pimps one, right? Like
Oh,
that's cool.
absolutely. That those were actually pretty cool. Yeah, like they
Yeah.
like I remember like one of my favorites was the Jose Reyes and Bautista like handshake. I don't know if you remember that in like
You're
90
gonna have to
that was
repost that one on Instagram.
yeah, so it was like 215, 216, and like they definitely kind of had like the shake up, down, band, or whatever, and then they had kind of like swipe on the shoulder. It was actually it was
Yeah.
like a minute long thing. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was definitely money, but I'll promise you guys I'll post it on my Instagram then like because for the celebrations and the handshakes
That
just
could be
for
my
my
hot
friend
take for
Alejandro. Yeah,
today.
absolutely, absolutely.
Outlaw the Mr. Dress Up cartoon box of what's that comedian's name? Carrot Top's
Carrot
props.
top. Yep.
Bring back elaborate handshakes.
There you go. There you go. And talking about outlaws, so I'll use that as a segue for our next section, talking about something that is outlawed, but people are still overstepping their boundaries into the betting world because there's a massive drama going on, a new investigation. And this particular one, in my personal opinion, it's the worst of them all. Why is the worst of them all? I know like we're going to be talking about it in the next section. We'll be right back.
Regular season.
All right, we are back for our next section of the podcast. So we're going to be talking about what everybody's talking about, seems like the new investigation regarding the betting scandals in MLB. What happened? A little background. So there's a massive investigation, and the pitcher in question, Luis Ortiz from the Cleveland Guardians, has been suspended with pay because they've been investigated two pitches, one that happened in Seattle, one that happened in Cleveland. Um, they've been absolutely outside the norm, if you want to call that. And there's bets placed on him throwing a ball or a wild pitch on those particular counts. I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. I think it just goes bigger than that. Alex, your take on that? Because we can talk about this all night long.
We can. I think for the average listener here, sports betting is expanded, and because it's so accessible online, you can basically bet on anything
Mm-hmm.
happening. If
Yep.
anyone's willing to take it, you can bet on it, which
Yep.
makes sports betting a lot more fun and a lot more accessible to someone who might not do that kind of thing normally. I'm
Yep.
not a gambler. I don't like it. I like making, basic bets on I'll buy you coffee or I'll buy you a beer, but
Exactly.
don't ever put money up. I don't gamble. But
Yep.
I get the appeal. I get the engagement in the game,
Mm-hmm.
especially for these little details. So you
Yeah.
can place a bet saying X pitcher is going to throw a wild pitch on a 2-2 count at some point in the game, and there'll be a take for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is probably if this is happening, and I almost guarantee it is happening in sports, that this is kind of the new way because you can get away with it without throwing the game or
Yeah.
paying off a referee or something like that. It's something fully in your control. At
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, it's you follow the money
Yeah.
and that will tell you what's happening.
Yeah, and that's a scary part. In my personal opinion, and you're absolutely right, Alex. The part that actually makes this one for me the worst, because I mean, you see things like, for example, you see Pete Rose or like Tucupita Marcano, like the guy that actually was suspended from San Diego and whatnot. They bet against the team, and in a
Or the Chicago
general
Black Sox.
on the Chicago Black Sox. They bet on like on the team itself, like not winning, whatever the case might be. But this is the first evidence or the first instance, if you want to call it that way, that they have the player directly impact the outcome of the bet. So basically, it's like you saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to bet that I'm going to throw it in the backstop," and you're the one actually throwing the ball. So I mean that it just seems to without like even though I agree with you in what you're saying in terms of like, it's very easy to kind of fly under the radar. Yeah, you can do it once, but the fact that you can actually, and like this guy actually has done it multiple times, it's just way too like it just absolutely kind of like damages the integrity of the game. Like, and damages in the sense that a lot of people's like, yeah, it's just one pitch. Yeah, but it's one pitch. It's not the same as actually hitting one ball, two strikes, or hitting with like a full count. For those of you that are not like diehard baseball fans like we are, when you have a 1-2 count, you still have a lot of like as a batter, you have more pitches to work with. But a full count, you have less like of a space, and like the pitcher usually has the advantage because the strike zone becomes a little bit bigger, so you have to be more in an alert mode. So there's a lot of things there that behind the scenes that the average fan that like you're saying, Alex, that bet on, oh yeah, just a bet, and just one pitch. It's one. There's just way, 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 way more behind the scenes that it changes the outcome of the game, right? So
Mhm.
it's brutal. I think it's absolutely brutal. But I don't know. Like one thing that I was actually reading in one of the newscasts that we're talking about. I think it was CBS that they were talking about it. The key thing here too is one of the guests that they actually had. They were talking about how how the whole betting in baseball came about. It was not necessarily like, oh yeah, we agree that like bets should be legal, whatever. It was just to control the bookies or in the behind the scenes are like gonna basically the black market and make revenue. So it's all about revenue. But the thing is, there's one thing about revenue, and another thing is actually impacting the outcome of like the purity of the game, right? So I mean, you can actually improve things, but you're literally changing the purity of the game, in my opinion. I don't know what you think, Alex. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see that kind of involvement because yeah, there's an integrity piece. There is a I mean it opens a door that you can't close, which is why the
Absolutely.
penalty for betting on games has always been the one of the stiffest penalties that you can get, which is
Hmm.
lifetime ban.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not like a PED kind of thing that you're like, oh yeah, I did it by mistake. Nah, that doesn't really fly. I just doesn't find that.
Especially because the odds on these types of bets are never big enough to justify the money. Luis
Yep.
Ortiz is not poorly compensated for his work.
Yeah.
He's doing it because he's helping a friend out, or it's just a
Yep.
goof, or
Or
having a
maybe he
fun
needed the
time.
extra money. I don't. We never know, right? Because I mean, that's the other thing too. That I don't know what you think about. I mean, there's that mental slash desperation kind of like on that addiction side of things, right? So, because I
There
mean,
could be that.
yeah,
I think again, attribute to stupidity what you can't attribute to malice.
yeah,
I think the odds that his buddy texted him be like, "Ooh, I've placed $500 on this," and he's like, "Nah, might as well."
yeah,
I'm going to assume it's something dumb rather than it's something malevolent.
yep,
Canadian company was the analytics
yep,
firm
mhm,
IC360, I believe. You
yes.
obviously know more on the IT world than I do. Have you looked into any of this at all?
Yeah, one of the things that it was kind of an interesting thing. Obviously, it's a combination of like Alex said, it's a company that looks at trends in terms of the bets that go in and looks at the peaks. What basically you would actually call like your standard deviation. There's the geek of me talking about it. In
Mhm.
terms of like what the variety or like what the differences would actually be in a normal bet or in a normal game and what the outcome or like a random peak within a particular game. But the part that actually I find also quite disturbing is as we have talked multiple times in this podcast, cybermetrics right now it's at the forefront of everything in baseball. Everything is cybermetrics this, cybermetrics that. And apparently, one of the rumors, and again, it's all rumors because I mean, the investigation is still going on, is that the
Mhm.
pitcher used the cybermetrics uh, information in order for him to actually place the bet, at least for the second one that they're actually talking about it, taking into consideration because it was an interesting wild pitch. If you guys actually, I think I have it on my my Instagram so you can actually see it. Like the first one, like you said, Alex, they're I mean, we're catchers. Everybody, like pitchers throw wild pitches, so whatever, it's not a big deal. But if you see the second one, that's the one that really catches my attention. It's the one that happened in Cleveland. It's a massive wild pitch, and he has had perfect control until that point. I think he had actually thrown like three balls in 20 pitches, and all of a sudden he throws a wild pitch on a, I think it was like a 1-2, kind of like an 0-2 count,
Hmm.
which it just really didn't make a whole lot of sense there. But so that combination between, especially what that Alex said, the company, and using the team cybermetrics in order for him to do that. And then for those of you that don't know, like the behind the scenes part of it, in terms of what Alex was saying, in terms of they're being highly compensated, even if you make league minimum, you're making close to $1 million a season. So you're looking at, I think the number, I think it was like 942,000, something along those lines when I last checked it. But not only that, let's say you only lose 1 year, that's one thing. But if you're on a lifetime ban, you're literally losing your bread and butter for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
Because most of these guys, especially from Latin America, they don't have a whole lot to fall back on. So um, and I agree with you. I mean, I don't think even if you bet $1 million on you doing that, is it really going to make that much of a difference? Unless you know you're injured and you know you're not going to play anymore. I don't know. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. But uh,
Yeah, again, I'm going to assume that just being dumb, and obviously the investigation has started off on more than just these two pitches and some data behind it. Like
yeah,
rarely do they start these investigations without something being confirmed but not
yeah,
proven. Generally
exactly.
is the case, and it's unfortunate because it's just stupid.
Stupid. Yeah. That's it. That's it. That's the easiest way to put it, people. It's just stupid. So,
Yeah.
and with stupidity, or like being the operative word for this particular section, and we talked about it, we dissected it. So we're gonna go into the All-Star break, and we'll be right back with more of this.
All-Star Break.
So, in our all-star break, we'll talk about our sponsors and local initiatives. So, our sponsors are bamboobat.com with a code HomePlate33. You get a 10% discount, and for purchases $50 and up, you get free shipping. So I mean, can go wrong. So they have bats, they have fungo bats, they have practice bats as well. So they have a little bit of everything. And like their slogan says, swing that lasts. Try to break a bamboo bat, it's next to impossible. So but they have a bamboo wood maple one that hopefully I can get my hands on pretty soon, Alex, so we can actually test it out in the batting cages. But
Love it.
these guys are perfect for, especially for those of you that buy those expensive bats and the Maruchis of the world. They're like $300 a pop. You can buy these bats and you can use that ones for BP and for the batting cage, and you don't have to kind of change anything. So it makes it a little bit easier, cheaper. You don't have to spend $400 in a metal bat when you're going to be using wood in the field. So give these guys a try, bamboobats.com. So remember, home plate 33, your promo code for 10% discount, and enjoy power that lasts. And in terms of helping or giving you information about local initiatives, the Power Zone Academy summer camps are going to be starting pretty soon. They're in July and August. So follow them on Power Zone Academy. I'll be posting on my Instagram, all the details, the contact information, but it's info@powerzoneacademy.com with Dave Petco, Hall of Fame softball player in the Valley. So there's a little bit of everything on those camps. Anything you want to bring up, my friend Alex?
That's all I got. I'm somewhat out of the loop here,
Yeah,
so
there, there you
I'm
go.
gonna go with whatever you say at this point.
Well, there you go. That was kind of quick and easy. And another hint, which I already know that you know the answer for the trivia question of the day. Any hint that I can actually help our listeners guess the trivia question of the day, which I'll repeat.
Ooh.
Who's the other Mariner to have more than 30 home runs before the All-Star game in franchise history?
Let me think. I think he is probably one of the most famous sons in baseball.
Well, there you go. I agree. I would agree with that. If not the most famous, one of no, no, one of the most famous for sure. Like top three max,
Mm.
I would say. Okay, so with that, we'll go into our third section, which we'll talk about who do you think that we're going to be sellers and buyers after the All-Star game as we prepare for the trade deadline. All right, we'll be right back.
Trade deadline.
Okay. All right. We are back with our third section of this episode, and we're going to be talking about who should be the buyers, sellers. Is there any fighting chance for some teams? Um, I'll start with the American League. I think the Jays, they definitely need their starter. There's no question about it. Even though their starters are doing amazingly. They
Mm.
need that fifth, I don't know, like that fifth starter, solid starter. I don't know if DeGrom is the way to go, just because of what we talked about in the earlier section. I know, like he can actually be dominant force on the mound, but he can also be done for the year in one pitch. I would actually put my money on like Zach Gallen. Uh, Apparently, he's available in the trading block from Arizona.
Mhm.
I would put my money there. I think Barger's doing an amazing job at third base. A lot of people are talking about they need a third baseman kind of thing. I wouldn't actually break that chemistry. And Barger's doing an unbelievable job. I think pitching is definitely the way to go in terms of like the buyer side of things. Um, the other team, at least in the Central, like the Tigers, even though they have the best record in baseball, they need a third baseman. It's their lowest production spot. Apparently, Breckman seems to be the option there, but it all depends on what Boston actually does at that point. So I'm not sure. And the Mariners, they definitely have the pitching. They have had the best pitching until tonight, actually. They're being spanked in the Bronx, but have had the best ERA in the month of June, but then one of the lowest batting averages. So they definitely need a bat. Eugenio, I don't know, Eugenio Suarez or Gino Suarez sounds like the perfect solution for their third base spot. But anything, anything can happen at that point. So I'll pass it on to you for the American League, my friend Alex.
Yeah, I think no one is not looking at the Blue Jays and saying they need a starter. I would like to see a starter who's won a ring before, a little bit more
Agree.
seasons, some big game maturity there.
Yeah,
Um, they don't need anyone who's going to be throwing 104. They just need
yeah,
someone who can kind of anchor it. And, if
no,
they're in the playoffs and they get down 2 games and this pitcher comes up, everyone goes, okay, we have a chance, right?
yeah,
Like we need that guy.
yeah. Do you think
Um,
Ubaldi might fit that bill? Ubaldi from
yeah,
Texas? Because I don't think Texas is
I
going anywhere.
no, I think Evaldi would be a good one.
He's been
Yeah,
there,
I,
done
I
that.
I mean,
So
you're not really getting anyone else from the AL, especially the teams in contention. So,
yeah,
uh, yeah, that would probably be the best
yeah,
bet. I mean, they already have Scherzer, but
yeah,
I don't think he can fill that role, and
yeah,
Scherzer's not going 7 innings.
yeah. Even though
So
he did an unbelievable job against the Yankees, that was awesome.
yeah,
42-year-old actually shutting down the Yankees. I don't know. That
he
was,
gets
I don't know.
fired up. He can
Yeah,
still bang. Verlander
yeah,
can still bang. These old heads can still do it. I think they just need
yeah,
they need to pick someone up here.
yeah.
The other team in the AL, I think the Red Sox need some pop, probably in the first base slot here. Um, I mean,
Great.
getting rid of Devers seemed to be the right move culturally and performance wise, and kind of
Yep,
removed the Eeyore of the team at that point.
yep,
Uh, but they're not getting a ton of pop,
yeah,
and who knows what Bregman's going to look like when he's back. Same with Yoshida.
yeah.
So I think picking up a kind of a strong strong first baseman.
Yeah, rumor has it that Yoshida might be coming back as a first baseman, which will be kind of interesting to let Abreu play right field. So we'll see how that plays
Mhm.
out. Because I mean, even though the Red Sox might be a little bit far in the American League East, they're only one game behind the wild card. So I mean, it's not that they're
Yeah,
completely done, right? So I think it will be kind of an interesting. Even though Abraham Torres has been doing a great job defensively and kind of getting a hit here or there, I
yeah.
agree with you. They definitely need that, and the whole Devers thing. Of course, I have to say something about Devers because I have to, because it came out yesterday. I don't know if you heard about it. Apparently, the issue might not be only with the Red Sox because now with San Francisco, I know he's planning to play first base, and apparently Will Clark, the legend, there is Will Clark, scheduled some reps and work on first base, and he stood him up. So
Good.
Will Clark went out of the podcast and rip him a new one. So kind of interesting. I'll try to post that in my Instagram later on, but it's quite funny. Quite funny, you know, like how basically told him where to go, how to get there, and if he's not there the next session, gonna be hell
You
to
know,
pay.
I'm so curious because I wonder how much of this is like too many yes men.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wondering if Devers has a hype man problem,
Mhm.
and his manager's in his ear, like, yeah, yeah, you deserve it. Like, and all his bros are like, yeah, man, you're the
Yeah.
best. You need to get up there.
Yeah.
Anyone who looks that baby face is having no
Yeah.
one tell him to put the fork down and go for a run. So
Yeah.
I love Devers. I love his swing. I love his dominance of the Yankees. I loved him as a Red Sox, but
Yeah.
there's someone in his ear that's not helping him grow up, and
Yeah.
that's at least that's my read of this situation.
Yeah. The entourage is definitely the problem. All right.
Mhm.
So who do you got in the AL West that needs a little help?
Oh, my AL West.
You think the Mariners have a fighting chance? Or you think
I
the Angels might have an outside shot?
I mean, I think the Mariners have a fighting chance. I think they're in the same place as Toronto. They have a lot of swag, they have a lot of confidence, they have a lot of
Okay.
momentum, and that goes a long way,
Yeah.
especially at this point of the season. I think this is where teams will start to fade. This is where kind of the tank will start to matter for a lot of the
Yeah.
teams that, have management giving up on them to try and
Hmm.
sell off by the All-Star break. I'm gonna turn away for here, and this might be an obvious take, but the Astros need a left-handed bat. They're playing well, they're coming back, but without Yordan Alvarez, they're missing that big lefty who can stroke the ball
Yeah.
away, which is incredible. Like, and I'm no one to tug the shirt of a Houston Astro, but I am impressed with how well they've done without
Yeah.
Alvarez. And
Hmm.
then he's going to come back, and we're going to be like, oh, yeah, that guy too.
Yeah, and unfortunately he had a setback not too long ago, so he's not coming back until first week of August, if I remember correctly. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with you. Even though I'm not a Houston Astros lover per se, I agree with you. I mean, they're leading the division by 6.5 games. So I mean, they have to fortify that left side because I mean they're very right-handed heavy, to say
yeah.
the least. All
And I
right,
mean,
going in. Yeah, go
you
ahead.
you
Go
were
ahead.
going to say the Angels. Are you going to say they need everything? They need depth. They need
Like,
to.
dude, they're only 3.5 games out. If it wasn't because the Blue Jays actually swept them, they were literally half a game of the wild card. I mean, they're playing way better than they did with Otani,
Yeah,
which
they have Trout
saying a
back.
lot. Yeah. So yeah. But and also without a manager too, because remember, Ron Washington then had to leave the
Hmm.
team because of health reasons. So that division is pretty interesting. I think the only ones that I don't think they have that swag that you were talking about are the Rangers. The Athletics, I mean, they're poised to just like start producing when they get to Vegas, bets or no bets.
Hmm.
So, but I think the Angels, I know if people fall asleep on the Angels, I mean, they were above 500 until they got to Toronto, and they're only like 2 games below 500. So. If they get a couple of pitchers here and there, I mean, Kikuchi's doing a very good job. Son only has a 2.5 ERA, I think it was. So last time I checked. So
Hmm.
anything can happen. So yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, I would love to see the Rangers offense meet the kind of the you have Corey Seager,
yeah,
Marcus Simeon, and Adolis Garcia. Jock
yeah,
Peterson still needs to come back, but
yeah,
they're not swinging the bat particularly well.
yeah.
and
that
that's
might be
kind
the
of what this
understatement of the
is.
century right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so going into the National League, going into the West, rumor has it that the Phillies are really pushing hard for our oldest Chapman to be that 1-2 punch in the back end of that bullpen before
Mm.
Alvarez comes back from the PED suspension. Because remember, he got suspended, and he's even though he will be coming back this season, he's not eligible for playoffs. So they're going to be needing a closer because I mean that team should make the playoffs. They're only half a game up on the Mets, but they're 10 games up the Marlins. So I think that seems to be an interesting target for them.
Yeah.
National League East for you?
Yeah, I think same thing. Phillies with the bullpen, Nationals with the bullpen, Mets with the bullpen.
Yeah, everybody with the bullpen except the Marlins, because that seems to be the
And
one thing it's
then
actually
I
working for
think
them.
Marlins and Braves
Yeah,
probably kind of position
yeah,
players,
yeah.
middle left side infielders, all that kind of.
Like honestly, I'm looking at the standings as we speak right now. The Marlins have 42 wins and 48 losses, and the Braves have 39 wins and 50 losses. They're 2.5 games up on the Braves. You look at those teams, they have no business being anywhere close to that. So that tells you they're playing without any pressure. They're 7-3 in the last 10 games. They're playing great baseball. I'm not saying they're going to win the division. I'm not going to say that they're going to go in as a wild card, because I think those wild cards in the National League are kind of like set in stone. But whew, that says a lot about the future of the Marlins. I mean, hopefully they can keep that up. Going
Yeah, do you
into
think they're
Yeah, go
gonna
ahead.
kind of they're gonna try and sell a house, or they're actually gonna try and put a run? Like I think they're pretty
Yeah,
young right now, so
they're
it
pretty
looks
young. Like
like
I'm,
they're
yeah,
gear
the
up for a
only
run.
guy that's kind of like like a high there on age ish is Alcantara. Like I mean, if they're really pushing for next year, I would keep Alcantara. But at the same time,
Hmm.
right now you can get, I don't know, quite good return that you can actually explode next year.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, they're close, but not quite close. So I mean, anything can happen at that point. I think they're doing a better job that everybody's giving credit for, because they thought they were going to be
Right.
the worst game and with the worst team in the National League, and they're definitely nowhere close to that, with the Rockies at 21 and 71.
Shout out Colorado holding it down.
28, 29 games from from the wild card, 35 games from first place. So yeah, that ain't gonna happen. So going into, well, I might as well say within the National League West, I think the team, maybe I'm cheering for them, I don't know, but the San Francisco Giants, if they can get production out of Adames, or they get a second baseman, they can hit a little bit above the Mendoza line. I
Yeah.
think they can actually make a really good push. I know the wild card. They're actually the second wild card right now, as we speak. So, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I can't not shout out my D-backs bullpen
Yeah,
relievers.
yeah.
Uh, they're both of their closers are out for Tommy John, I believe, with
Hmm.
Puck and Martinez.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Puck actually killed my fantasy team. So um
good.
that was bad. That was really bad. And even with the season that they're being having, they're only 4.5 games out of the wild card. So I mean, they're not
Yeah,
like completely gonzo. So I mean, a really good run here and there, whatever. I mean, I don't think they can sustain it without Colton Burns and the two closers out, but I don't
yeah.
know. They can use that. They can do it. I don't know, Bam Bang style. They have Eugenio Suarez hitting bombs left and right. So they definitely have the firepower for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, it's something to kind of behold that that division seems to be shockingly strong in
Yeah.
comparison to the other divisions. I think the records are pretty close to the AL East, which is always a weird thing to look at, given that this is
Very
the
much.
like the 500 division.
Yep.
So
Yeah. And the
the fact
Dodgers
that
not being up by 20 games by now, like that kind of
I
stuff.
know,
Yeah.
even though they're trying their best to be.
Yeah. I mean, I know they're only, I don't know, they only have, I don't know, 5.5 games, like San Francisco in second place. So, again, they have had what, a million injuries in their starting rotation. So, I mean, I don't know, kudos to what they have being able to do with what they had.
So I
But
got an
it's quite
inverse
amazing.
question for you here.
Yes.
What don't the Rockies need?
What done the Rockies need? Fans. Because
Okay.
that's one thing that they they get a lot. I know, like I have a friend of mine, shout out to Domingo Wild, I know a good friend of mine. We have the same name, yes. He lives in Fort Collins, and they sell more beer in terms of like I know people hanging out than people actually paying attention to the game. So they have a rooftop that is pretty sick, I
Well,
have to
hold
say.
on.
Pretty
There,
cool.
that fan base has been stoned for the past 15 years.
My point, exactly. So they don't have a problem with the fan base.
Yeah, they put the Mile High Stadium to
Yeah,
multi
exactly.
levels of definition.
Exactly. So I mean we had his tag at the stadium. So I don't know, like I don't know, people actually do it more of a social event than baseball diehard situation. So
I will
yeah,
say you're completely right about that.
yeah,
Colorado loves its sports teams.
yeah. So
Even the years of Avalanche sucking, like that rink is still full.
yeah,
So
yeah,
shout out to Colorado for showing up for the Rockies and the Nuggets and the
yeah.
Avalanche, and I'm sure they have
And the
another list.
Yeah, like in the
And
Broncos. I
Broncos.
mean, when they had uh Team Tebow, remember that? I mean, that they stuck
Yeah,
by their guns. So shout out to them. You know, they definitely put up with their teams. Let's just say that. So
they gave Peyton his second ring so he could equal his brother
exactly. So I mean, they're definitely there. So so
for
shout out to
sure.
them. So going into the National League Central, as much as we play for the Cubs, but the Chilliwack Cubs, I don't think they're going to hold on in that division. I think the team to watch there are the Cardinals. They have shocked me how well they've been playing. They're 5 games out of five, like above 500. They're only a game and a half out of the wild card. If they can get a little bit more production from their outfield, ooh, watch out, people. Like, watch
Mhm.
out. That team definitely kind of playing without pressure. Nobody gave a
Yeah,
cent for them at the beginning of the season. So if they can get a good outfielder, maybe a Reynolds from Pittsburgh, apparently he's in the trading block or available somehow. I mean, I know it's within division, so it's usually those trades don't usually happen within division. But if they get an outfield, ooh, buckle up,
yeah,
people. Can get a bumpy ride. How about you?
for sure. The Cardinals always find a way of making something happen. Their outfield has always been oddly good, so it's weird. I'm going to take the inverse though, and I think this is a pitching thing. Both their
Hmm,
rotation and their starters are below the league average for ERA, which
okay.
makes it I think it's disguising it's disguising their hitting problem as a
Yeah.
scoring problem. And I think yeah, I do think their team is still above 4 in terms of ERA, which
Yes, 4.3 to be
yeah,
exact. As of
so
right now, yeah.
yeah, that's gonna make it look like your offense isn't producing, but if you go back and you look at the number of series, there might be a couple high scoring games, but
Yeah.
the majority of games are gonna be 5-2, 4-2, 3-2. You're gonna have the odd, 8-1,
Yeah. Yeah.
11-9, but those are more rare than not and tends to fall to, two or three bad innings
Hmm.
for a given pitcher or two.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're kind of averaging 4 to 5 runs a game, it's gonna hide your offense is gonna kind of hide behind that, and
Yeah.
you tend to look at it as a just hit more, but really they should be better than that. But they're
Yeah.
also I can't name me a pitcher for the Cardinals.
Yeah. Like the only one that the constant one is Sonny Gray. So I mean, he
Yeah.
yeah, he's the only one that like have had a couple of like full games and complete games, I think. I know like a couple of weeks ago he had a 1 game shutout, 1 hit shutout. So I mean, it's but I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I think that the Cubs, even though and like Stroop, please don't hate me. Our friend Stroop from our team, please don't
You know
hate
what?
me. But
Stroop, hate him. Come here
yeah,
and debate him. Come onto the show.
exactly. You've
What
been
everyone
invited,
doesn't
so
know,
now
we've
you're
been
on
trying to get
camera.
him onto this show.
Exactly.
He's Just a scared little boy.
Yeah, we have
Best
seen
hands
five. Yeah.
in the LNBA. I'm pretty sure he can cure blindness with those hands.
Yep. Um,
Scared little chicken boy.
yeah. Well, there you go.
Get on
Troop, you've been
here.
called. I know you've
Get
been called
on here,
upon.
Joshua.
You've been called upon, my man. So you can tell us what the Cubs need and what they need and how they need it. So, and maybe you can talk about Sammy Sosa. You never know. So there's always time to talk about Sammy. So, yeah. So that
Come
kind of
on,
wraps.
Josh. We'll do a special Cubs episode just for you.
There you go. So the invitation goes out to you, my friend Stroop. So
Yeah.
we'll use that invitation to close out this section and going into the summary of what we talked about and the answer to our trivia question as we wrap up this episode of the podcast.
World Series.
All right, all right, all right. We've been talking a lot about baseball, and oh, it feels good. Feels good. So now we're back at doing this. So what did we talk about? We talked a little bit of everything. We talked about betting in baseball, the latest investigation going on. And of course, before we go into like, deep dive into the summary, we need to talk about, I don't know, in my opinion, one like besides the postseason, the most fun time of the year, which is the All-Star break with the Home Run Derby and the All-Star game. There's happening on Monday, the 14th, and the All-Star game on the 15th. Who's your favorite for the, I know, Derby?
I
Acuna is going to
mean,
be there.
I hate to be
Alonso's not going to be there. I'm
bandwagon
not so
jumper,
mad. I'm
but
so
I gotta
mad.
pick the catcher. I'm always gonna pick the
Yeah.
catcher.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So Cal
Go
Raleigh,
Cal
you
Go.
think? Yeah, well,
Go
big
Cal
dumper for
Go. I'm
you.
doing extra squats for that man.
There you go. So the big dumper for you. I think Woods is going to give them a run for the money, like their outfield for the Nationals. A lot of people don't give them credit, and of course, Vladdy's not going to be there. Alonso's not going to be there. So up for the taking. Up for the taking. So, and in terms of the All-Star game, they haven't announced the starters yet, but a lot of friendly faces. Let's just say that the most popular players, there's definitely has been proven this year. I'll get your take on that in a sec, Alex. That this is definitely a fan-based vote, and it's has nothing to do with the numbers. Because there's people with all due respect, Julio Rodriguez. I love him as a player and as a person. Apparently, he's absolutely amazing. I've talked to him very quickly, and his agent as well. And they're great people. But when Rowdy Tellez has a better OPS than you should not be in the All-Star game. I'm sorry. When George Springer has like almost 300 points higher OPS than you, I'm sorry. That's a no. That's a no for me.
Yeah, I
What's
was
your
gonna
take on
say
that?
Springer being shunned is a little bit telling that
Yeah.
All-Star is a little bit less it's more a state of mind and the heart of someone who's got way too much time to vote on an app
Yeah.
than picking just who are the best performing baseball players.
Yeah, I mean it's I mean I know it's a show. It's like I mean this game it's not worth anything. In the past, it was worth something. Like the winner used to actually get home field advantage and whatnot. Not anymore. So, I understand it's a show more than anything else. But come on, like you got to give credit to what credit is due, right? So, and again, we're not saying that Julio has not like it's not an unbelievable player because he is. But in terms of the All-Star break, I don't know, we got to look at numbers. And George Springer, got to give him love. A lot. There's a lot of haters out there for George Springer because after the whole an Astros thing, but he definitely has earned his way into the All-Star game this year. And unfortunately, he's not going to be there. Not a Kirk and only Kirk and Vladdy are going to be there. And even Vladdy, I mean, I love the guy, but I know it's not that he's putting monster numbers there either. But again, I know he's definitely doing well enough to kind of be there. So kind of interesting. So
Yeah, it's
uh,
all weird.
yeah, very weird, very weird. So in terms of the trivia question of the day, I don't know, because obviously we're talking about the big dumper everywhere. So in my opinion, the leading go-getter right now for the MVP race. Today he hit his 36 homer. In the Bronx, he's leading Judge by 2 home runs, 36 to 34. So the question is, who's the other Seattle Mariner to have at least 30 or more home runs before the All-Star game? The only way I can describe this guy, I know if not my favorite player, very damn close to my favorite player, sweetest left-handed swing ever, and I mean ever. Agree or disagree?
I would agree. You mean
Yep,
the man whose first name is actually George?
yep. There you go. There you go. There you
You
go.
mean the man from Denora, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, and you mean the guy that couldn't kind of wear number 42 and he had to flip it in order for him to use it? So
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. So that guy. We're not gonna say it, but you're gonna we all know who it is.
If
Um,
you don't know who this is,
Listening to the
sort
wrong
yourself out.
podcast.
Sort yourself out.
Yeah, exactly. So I know you're definitely listening to the wrong podcast, or you're doing it because you're supporting us because you're awesome, but you definitely need to find out who this guy is. So, Alex, again, thank you very much, my man. We definitely will get back on track and on schedule with our podcast. Anything you want to
Don't be
listen
mad
and
at
talk
us.
to?
We're both catchers. I think we've probably been catching for probably 50 years between the two of us. There's a lot of
Absolutely.
CTE accumulating. We're
Yes.
barely getting to the bathroom on time. So
Yeah.
let's.
Yeah.
Sometimes the podcasts are a little bit few more days apart than the
Yeah.
other ones.
Yeah, but I mean, don't
Don't
they say that podcasters and catchers have to be a little bit crazy? So we're not crazy. We're looking at crazy in the rearview mirror.
Yeah,
So I
we're
mean,
not
really,
crazy. You're
yeah.
crazy.
Just a
You know what's
standing amount of
crazy?
people.
Pitchers. Pitchers are crazy. They
No,
don't
they're
know
just made
nothing about nothing.
what are you talking about? Pictures are just made out of glass, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
And they're the manager's son, right? So isn't that how it works? And the
correct.
catchers are the only ones that I know that's the way we get in the field, right? So
Yes.
there you go. So yeah, we'll definitely get back on our regular scheduled programming and trying to actually do it every week, if not every 2 weeks that we had been doing before this. So thanks again for supporting us, and we'll give a shout out to our sponsors again, the people from bamboobats.com with the promo code HomePlate33 to get your 10% discount. Also for bat protection as well. Forgot to actually mention that at the All-Star break. The people from launchpad.com as well. Again, the code there is actually Domingo for 10% discount on the protective pads. The information is already on my Instagram page, which is Guaraneo en tres y dos in Spanish and at homeplate.33 in English. My friend Alex, thanks again. You're awesome. Catcher's
See you,
rule
buddy.
and big dumper for the home run derby.
Get your
All right,
squats in.
boys.
See you,
There you
buddy.
go. Get your squats in. There you go. Take care, boys.